Cactus Coochie Kimmy. So you really mad that Maurice ain't building nothing? He in his soft girl era. He going to get more manis and petties than you, friend. Exactly. I knew that man ain't had that thing on him. That's why she really don't want to have sex with you a few times a week. It's obvious that neither one of y'all like each other anymore. He didn't use you all up, and he can't get your coochie wet to save his life. Speaking of cootie cat on the Sunday, Destiny, that's the name. When you walked in the function, Martell said, "All aboard," as in all aboard the choo-choo train. And you trying to make me believe that you wasn't Moses jump off for 20 years and got mad when Sonny came along and he wifed her? Girl, I guess, child. And then Tisha, your ass, with that 10 panel house. I'm not even finna read your house, girl. But how you gonna go get your mama to fight your battles and then claim that Neill always want to have a problem with you? Who really want to have a problem with who? If y'all was supposed to dead it, you brung it back up at the winery. Now you bring in your mama to argue with Neill. Neill don't want to argue with you. You want to argue with Neill, friend. Exactly. Y'all, I couldn't wait to come and talk to y'all today about this nonsense. I was going to talk to y'all last night. I did a little short because I was fed up. I was like, child, let me watch this again so I won't curse so much on a Sunday. Exactly. Anyway, good morning. Exactly. Good morning. I'm getting ready to go to brunch. I hope y'all having a good day. Happy Sunday. As y'all know, Sunday is my favorite day of the week. Exactly. So I'm up sipping my little tea, getting ready to enjoy my Sunday and my brunch. Make sure you come in, like, subscribe to the video, do all of the things. We're going to talk about this finale for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, I'm not sure if this is the mid-season finale because they're coming back in March. Yet another break. Y'all know how I feel about this. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get into this review. Later on, I know I said I'll go live. Maybe later on I'll go live and we can talk some random shit. I did have some other stuff I wanted to talk about. Anyway, okay, so let's start at the beginning of this episode. We go over Marceau and Tisha house. Now, a lot of y'all been telling me, that Marceau and Tisha live on like a busy street. This was the first time we really saw the outside of their home. Inside of their home, great. I love the black doors. I love the cabinetry. I love how they redid the kitchen. But the outside of that house, the outside of their house and the outside of Kimmy and Maurice's house, Tisha, where did you get all of this rich wife? Where did you get this rich wife persona from? Where did you get it from? If anybody should say they're a rich wife, it's Miss Neill or Trish. Trish house look better than Marceau and Tisha them house. Now I see why you so pressed about Scott Manor. Because the outside of your house look like a tan shed. Girl, I don't know. The inside look nice though, but I digress. So we over here chilling with Tisha and Marceau at their little at their home. Anyway, and they're getting ready for this 80s parties that they stole from Married to Medicine, stole Cecil and Simone idea. They getting these little whack raps together, and she's telling him about what happened at the winery, and she not sure whether she could trust Destiny. Destiny playing both sides of the fence. And of course, Marceau is like, a friend to everyone is a friend to no one, which I do believe. But we know that Marceau never liked Destiny. Marceau never trusted Destiny, and I think Marceau is one of the smartest people in the room because he saw how Destiny did Melody for Martell. I don't know why nobody else gauged that. Like, look at how bad of a friend she was to Melody. Why do any of y'all think that Destiny is going to be loyal to y'all? But whatever. Anyway, she was like, she don't feel like she has any loyalty or whatever. She don't know whether her loyalty is with her or Neill. First of all, Destiny, you should make this very clear. That's how I know you're a fake ass bitch and you live in a gray area, because your loyalty should be with Miss Neill, because you already told us that Miss Neill counseled you You were friends with Miss Neill before you even married LeBerick, which means you was cool with Miss Neill and at her house, sucking up her knowledge before you even met a Letitia Scott. So why would her loyalty be to you and not Miss Neill? I guess, child. Anyway, she proceeds to talk about Neill. She said she didn't want to invite Neill, and Neill was talking about her marriage. And Marceau gonna say, well, no, you don't want to spill any hot tea because sometimes you will spill it on yourself. He was like, remember the last time somebody spilled some hot tea, they got burned, which I think that's a sidebar to Martell and Melody, which Marceau, okay, Martell told your motherfucking ass, you keep talking about him, he gonna bring the real Miss Harry Hines, the real mistress, the girl I got bookmarked as Marceau Mystery Lady. Exactly, on my laptop. And then Tisha, you didn't peep what Marceau was saying? He basically said, don't spill no hot tea about Chris Fletcher because they might spill some tea about your marriage, i.e. me. Miss Neill might tell about who my who my side bitches are. I guess Tisha didn't get that and he was saying it right to her face or whatever. Anyway, so what else happened? They were going through this they little rapping thing. So they started doing a little rap invites. They went over to Kimmy and I think that was credit one. They went over to Kimmy and Maurice's place of business. They was rapping and they was talking about, Kimmy, you gonna bring your baby. Is Maurice her baby? Because we know he act like her child. I guess that's who they was talking about. Then they gonna talk about who Destiny gonna bring another new guy, probably a new guy. Like, not it was shade in the invite to Destiny. And the raps was whack. A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. How I live on a tree and I can't speak. My mama from Bessemer and I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a rapper. My mixtape not dropping soon. And theirs not either because the raps was whack. Exactly. Somebody else should have wrote them. Anyway, I noticed that they didn't go to the Fletcher's house and they didn't go to Destiny's house. I'm not surprised because we still haven't seen Destiny's home. Where does Destiny live? In one of them storage garages? I don't know. We also didn't go over to Martell's house. He didn't get an invite. They acted as if Maurice, Kimmy, Trish, and Kim were the only two people. But I mean the only two couples, but I guess. So then we go over to Chris Fletcher house. They getting ready for the party. Miss Neill is so damn small. I like that little Fendi dress she had on. That was really, really cute. But she's so small, she looked like a midget on the other side of that bed. And we already know Chris Fletcher's short. Anyway, so Chris Fletcher said he felt some type of way because he just got a text from Marceau like, hey, pull up. And I guess Destiny didn't find out to the party that she didn't even get a real invite either. And at the party, Miss Neill was like, I see why I didn't get the real invite, but damn, why Destiny didn't even get the invite? I'm like, yeah, okay. So let's get to the party, child. I feel like, if I'm being honest, I feel like Marceau is intimidated by Chris Fletcher. And I feel like, in general, they're intimidated by the Fletchers because the Fletchers is everything that the Scotts portray to be. Kind of like the Holtz were. They were the power couple. They were the couple with the money. They were the couple doing a lot of business, so on. Granted, Marceau has scope, but can he finish a project? That's the real question. Now he has black and he's throwing events. However, if you compare them to the Fletchers, Chris Fletcher been doing real estate in Huntsville since the beginning of time. Miss Neill has multiple daycares. There, look at that panel. Look at that brown paper box that Marceau and Tisha live in compared to the mansion, the brick mansion that the Fletchers live in. Girl. Y'all be growling at the kids looking at my house, walking by. Anyway, okay, so let's get to this party. Let's get to the party. The party gives, they had a $200 budget, max. I didn't see no good ass food. I didn't see no trays of celery and chicken wings. It wasn't a lot of decorations. When Tisha and Marceau got up on that stage with Jalen as the DJ, I ain't see no decorations. We were literally at a high school gym with about 20 people, some tables, and some $2 tablecloths. This was the cheapest party ever. And on top of that, what really kind of pissed me off is the fashions weren't fashioning. I really thought I was just gonna get some good fashions. Y'all don't give y'all making some change over there. Y'all give regular people going to a regular little 80s party that y'all told me on Monday that y'all having a party on Saturday, and I just threw some shit together. I guess, child. So Miss Wanda is the blogger, child. And when Tisha talks about her mama being there, she's talking about, I'm not gonna argue with Miss Neill. I'm just gonna bring somebody that'll argue with her. I'm gonna bring my mama so she can argue with Miss Neill. So you specifically brung your mama in your own words to argue with Miss Neill when Miss Neill wasn't trying to argue with you in the first place, ho. Miss Neill wasn't even trying to argue with you at the winery. She was treating you like the little kid at the kiddie table that you are, bitch. But you brought up the whole snake thing. You keep wanting to have an issue with Miss Neill. And then keep saying that Miss Neill want to have an issue with you. No. Even in this scene, when they get to arguing, Miss Wanda starts the conversation, and then she gonna say, Neill, just say you got an attitude problem. Da, da, da. How you the one brought this to me? I was cool. What the fuck is you talking about, girl? Anyway, let's get back to the party. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back to the party. So at the beginning of the party, Miss Wanda is being the blogger. So they got her little act. She going live, so on. So she like interviewing the people as they come in. We'll come in with some tight ass, some nut huggers. That's what we used to call them, some nut huggers. Will comes in with his nut huggers. Miss Wanda talking about something, make an old lady wish for better days or something like, lady. Okay, Miss Wanda. Okay, Miss Wanda. Trish and Ken come in. Trish and Ken look cute to me. I like Trish. Trish probably had my favorite outfit, especially with the glasses with the egg on it, like left eye. Trish looked cute. They was like, "Where your husband at?" I would have loved to see Marquez. I actually missed Marquez on the show. He was like the wild card. Could you imagine him walking in there in 80s gear, ruffling feathers and shit? Exactly. And then she was like, "Y'all not married yet?" And Trish was like, soon. Nah, Trish, we heard that you double back and you was liking land. Shit, Trish a little whore. Anyway, so who else come in? Nell and Chris come in looking like Kid and Play. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Chris had on. They talking about they in a party or whatever, and they asking where Destiny at. Will looking like, well, she ain't coming with me, where Lance at. And this whole episode they played in Destiny face. Destiny, I know you said on Carlos King you signed up to be a whore, but they are really dragging out this Destiny is a whore from Hill storyline. The whore of Huntsville. Literally, they making you out to be the whore of Huntsville. I ain't said exactly, but it's crazy. Anyway, so then Lance finally arrives. And Miss Nell gonna say, where Destiny at? So and He like, nah, we just friends. And Miss Wanda was like, you finally left that hoe? Destiny. First of all, Tisha want Destiny to have loyalty to her, but as soon as Tisha have an issue with Destiny or think that Destiny being disloyal, you see how she sicked her mama on her? Now you got your mama calling me a hoe? Y'all let Miss Wanda get away with too much for me. I would have been on Melody type of time, and bitch, I drag your mama. I respect my elders for a minute, but after a few minutes, I'm a drag her because I'm grown too. I guess. Anyway, so she was like, Miss Wanda was like, you finally left that hoe? And then Lance was like, we was in a group text asking who turn it was. I said, what? Destiny, Destiny. They played in your face, honey. Even if you ain't gave nan one of these niggas a quarter pound of cat, if you ain't gave up a piece of a cat, they playing in your face. They are literally playing in your face, pie face. Girl, y'all know I am not a Destiny fan, but Destiny from Detroit, you need to go Detroit on them. If I'm hurt, I would have cursed y'all ass out because they played all episode about you being a hoe. I don't know, y'all. Do y'all think Destiny a hoe? I don't know. Or do y'all think all of the boys mad? I honestly feel like Will salty that he couldn't get with Destiny and he wanted to try to tap Destiny. Maybe it was to win. I don't know. The only person I think Destiny really liked like that is Twan. Maybe she liked Lance, but after Lance had that baby on her, then she started messing with Twan and she don't care. I don't think she really cared for Will. She really liked Will. I think Lance actually really does like Destiny. I think Twan just out here doing something because he seemed like he a player. And then they threw Jalen in there too. So they threw Jalen in there too. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so then Martell comes. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all know I cannot stand this little muskrat. I cannot stand this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. But Michelangelo looked cute. Martell actually looked cute. I feel like Martell and Trish was the only people who put some effort towards their outfits and looked cute. Martell had on the little sideways little thing with the little 80s joint. When he came in, Miss Wanda was questioning him about talking about her daughter. And Martell was like, no, we agreed that we ain't gonna talk about this shit no more. Tisha said some fucked up shit. As long as they don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with them. So Martell was actually trying to keep it cute in this situation. I will say that. I noticed they still won't let him bring Orion. They keep talking about Orion, but they won't let him bring that bitch. Damn, Dandruff. They still using your likelihood and they still won't let your ass on set. They probably got a picture of that bitch. If this bitch shows, you see these split ends? If you see her, stop production. No, I'm just playing. Okay, so anyway, then Maurice and Kimmy come. Maurice look a damn fool. I guess he was trying to be on some South Central Compton type of shit. Kimmy looks a damn fool too. They just look tacky and cheap. For y'all to be on the show for 10 seasons, y'all ain't have enough money to give us some elevated 80s looks. Ugh, I hated it. Everything about this gave low budget Married to Medicine. Everything about it. Anyway, so Miss Wanda takes the opportunity to ask Maurice about the Harry Hines girl. She was like, okay. She was like, well, how do y'all feel about Martell bringing that girl onto the platform with Ariane talking about you in Vegas smashing girlies with Marceau? And of course, Maurice like, I don't know her. That didn't mean nothing. So on. Like, Maurice is never gonna give you anything. And I feel like Maurice is he's past a narcissist. Like, he's never gonna admit he's wrong, he did anything wrong or none of that. I don't even know why he on the show. Anyway, so Destiny finally get there. And like I said, when Destiny get there, they say all aboard. Like, all aboard, let's ride the train. Like riding a train, like a train. Then they continue to play in her face. So when she walks in, Jalen, Will, Twan, and Lance standing all together. And she said Twan came over there and spoke to her like he had some sense. The rest of them was playing, they was playing rock, paper, scissors to see, I guess, who talking. I'm going to say talking, I'm being nice. Girl, Destiny, that's what you get when you talk to a whole bunch of dudes in the same circle. They play in your face and everybody else is playing in your face. And for Martell to be your friend, he joking like you a pass around. They was playing rock, paper, scissors to get to Destiny. Girl, I don't know. Anyway, I did like Destiny outfit. It was kind of cute. But it looked kind of like a regular outfit. But she didn't put forth that much effort either. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. Anyway, so then they doing a little party. Like I said, it's only 20 people there. They did a tied ass Soul Train line. I ain't see no chicken wings. It was all right. I could have threw a better party in the last on the last minute tip. So Neill sat next to Tisha. Now, I will say this. Neill came in there in good spirits and on the up and up. And Tisha was like, what? You go sit next to me? You go sit next to me? And Neill was like, yeah, we said we was going to be cordial. Tisha is so immature. You had to make a big deal out of Neill coming and sitting next to you. Neill like, yeah, we said we was going to be mature, whatever, da. Then they started talking about the invites. And Miss Neill was like, I see me not getting the invite, but why didn't Destiny get the invite? And Destiny and Tisha gonna say, Well, after you got in a separate van on the way to the winery and I text you, I didn't know where we stood. Bitch, you mad because she tried to avoid conflict with you? You still mad that Destiny tried to avoid conflict with you and get in a separate car? So that means she was disloyal or taking Miss Neill's side? We're not in kindergarten. I know you speak on a kindergarten level, bitch. I know you're on a grade school level. And I'm sorry, until she showed me them degrees from ICDC college, I refuse to believe this woman got a master's degree. Because her thought process is just not percolating for me. Exactly. So I don't fucking get it. Anyway, so she was like, she didn't know where we stood or whatever. She didn't know where her loyalty lies. You riding the fence. Destiny was like, I ain't never rode no fence. Well, Destiny, I'm not sure if this is the editing, but right here is when you should have told her my loyalty lies with Miss Neill. That's when you should have let it be known, because you teary-eyed telling Miss Neill that you love her and you care for her and she like a real mentor to you. And you've been knowing her way longer than you've been knowing Tisha. And Tisha gonna cross you. Tisha will cross you for her husband, the Scotts, Kimmy, all of them. I don't know. Anyway, so then Miss Wanda comes over being messy, child. What did Miss Wanda start out by saying? She said, oh, Miss Wanda comes in and she's like, what got into you, Neil? So and so and so and so on. So when Miss Neill and Wanda start out with this conversation, they actually start off on the same page. And Miss Neill is just keeping it real. She like, no, this all started out with the husbands. And I just told him it's fucked up that they over there cool as hell. And we over here beefing about a comment that my husband said about the NDA. Now you mad. Chris apologized and da-da-da-da-da. So I feel like Miss Neill was being accountable. She was saying, I know my husband started this shit being messy. And I told his ass, now I'm into some shit because you was being messy talking about the NDAs. And Miss Wanda was like, yep, you right. That's where the women go wrong. Y'all be still tripping. And the men over there, they ain't tripping. That's because the men gonna have an alliance together at the end of the day because they don't want each other spilling each other's tea. You see Martell still over there snickling and giggling with them because the Scots really don't want Martell to bring out Harry Hines girl number 2. So Kimmy and Tisha take notes. That's why they playing nice with Martell even after their interview, because they don't want him to start bringing out the big guns, the real bitches and the babies and the NDAs. Anyway, but this where this shit goes left. So Miss Wanda was like, yeah, because Chris bringing up them NDAs and shit, his ass need to get checked. And Miss Wanda, that was out of line because Miss Neill just told you that her husband was wrong for saying that NDA shit, and that's the reason why they into this shit. So Miss Neill was like, well, your damn daughter did check my husband, so and so and so and so on. And then Miss Wanda was like, well, bitch, don't say my damn daughter, da 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 da. And Miss Neill was like, well, bitch, I don't give a goddamn. Miss Wanda was like, bitch, I don't give a goddamn. And they was like, well, bitch, what you want to do? I knocked that French roll clean up out your motherfucking head, bitch. Exactly. So it got so ghetto, y'all. It wasn't me. This how the scene went. It was so ghetto. Anyway, so the girlies start going back and forth. The old girlies, the geriatric girlies start going back and forth or whatever. I will say Miss Neill was trying to be, I feel like Miss Wanda didn't come in problematic either. I feel like Miss Neill and Miss Wanda didn't come in problematic. It got problematic when Miss Neill talking about Chris Fletcher need to get his ass cursed out or some shit. You don't tell me that my husband don't tell me my man need to get cursed out, bitch. First of all, your daughter did too much. So of course I'm coming with your damn daughter because you did too much talking about my husband, bitch. Watch your mouth. And then Miss Wanda, like, you know, you talking about don't say damn daughter. I can't say your damn son. Now, even though I'm team Miss Neill, I'm gonna have to side with Wanda. Because if Miss Wanda said your damn son, Miss Neill would have got crunk with her. But Miss Wanda, you can't be talking about your husband needs to get cursed out because, bitch, my husband don't need to get cursed out. My man don't need to get cursed out, bitch. I'm Clarissa about my man. No, I'm not Clarissa. Let me take that back. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so then they start going back and forth and shit. And then Miss Wanda, like, I gotta protect my daughter, so and so and so and so. And Miss Neill was like, well, I understand that, but I ain't got no mama, so I gotta protect myself. And Miss Wanda was like, well, I lost my mama too. Maybe you wasn't maybe you didn't clear things up before your mama passed, and that's the way, and that's why you feel the way you feel. Miss Neill, that's when all hell broke loose, because Miss Neill was like, you went too far. Tisha was over there snickling and giggling and smirking, and even Trish clocked it like, yeah, you wanted this, you wanted your mama to be involved in this shit, but when shit went too far, now you trying to calm your mama down, because Tisha was over there eating this shit up. Your mama is your lapdog. So when Miss Wanda was coming down here cursing Mel out, saying all this shit about Mel, I said all along, Tisha sent her mama down to YouTube to do this shit. Just like she sent her mama to try to go with Miss Neill, and then it went too far. Because I'm sorry, if I'm Miss Neill, and y'all might think this wrong, but if I'm Miss Neill, the second you would have said, maybe I ain't patched shit up with my mama before the same way you did with your niece. The same way you did with your niece. That's why you was down here on YouTube talking about how you made up with Kiki before she passed. Now, I usually don't bring up stuff like that, but don't bring up my mama. All gloves are off if you bring up my mama. So it would have been hell in Huntsville if Miss Neill had rung up your niece. So don't bring up my mama, bitch. I'm sorry, I would have knocked the finger waves clean up out of Miss Wanda's head. I'm sorry, that's when she took it too damn far. Anyway, so then everybody was trying to calm it down. Destiny trying to calm Miss Neill down. Tisha trying to calm Miss Wanda down. Then they try to, like diffuse the situation. Tisha like, no, we should all be learning from each other. And I just want everybody to get along. Oh, no, you don't. No, the fuck you don't. And then in the midst of this, Miss Wanda gonna tell Miss Neill, if you got an attitude, just say that. You just like your fucking daughter. That's where your daughter get it from. Start some shit and then act like Miss Neill the problem. Bitch, you the one brought this conversation here. Just like your daughter, the one who brung the snake and brought the conversation to the winery and at Fletcher's. Kimmy and Tisha brought that shit to Miss Neill. She was trying to be Ray Charles to the bullshit, but y'all hoes keep bringing it up. Girl, anyway, so they agree to squash the beef or whatever. Miss Neill apologizes if she hurt Tisha. Tisha didn't apologize. I wouldn't apologize to that bitch. That's just me. And I still stand firmly on the fact that Miss Neill, you need to start bringing Kiki and your daughter to these events. Because while Miss Wanda was popping off, I'm sure once she said something about the mama, if Miss Neill wanted to swing first, Kiki gonna swing second. And Tisha, whenever you want to do something about it, let's go. And bring the youngest daughter too, just in case Kimmy want to get into it. She could whoop her ass too. I'm sorry. Anyway, so that was the end of that, child. Then they started taking pictures and shit. Destiny dancing with Twan. Then Will come up behind her. Lance, they all sandwich her in. I think they just leaning towards the threesome. I think this is a storyline, honestly. Hold on, y'all, I'm a little hot. I think this is a storyline, honestly. Then what else happened? That was pretty much it as far as the party. They taking pictures and stuff. Trish and Martell looked cute. Did I peep Martell and Trish taking a picture? They actually matched and looked cute together. Exactly. That was just my opinion. Anyway, so this is the last part of the episode. Yeah, I'm low key. I'm kind of hot. So this is the last part of the episode. Let me find what my little ghetto girl eats. Shout out to Sierra. Y'all know. Sierra girl, you need to make me an ambassador. I told y'all I got her cookbook. I'm making some, tell me what y'all making for Sunday dinner. This is a sidebar. I'm making red beans. I'm making homemade red beans and rice and some fried chicken today. It's gotta be good, friend. It's gotta be good. Anyway, what else? What else was I talking about? Oh, okay. So the end of the episode, Maurice and Kimmy. Girl. So Maurice and Kimmy having a date night. Now he like, ooh, I love spending time with you, so and so and so and so on. Just the other day, I had to beg for you to spend more time with me when we was at therapy. But now he loves spending time with her and all of the things. But I digress. Anyway, so they started talking about the therapist. He said that he likes the therapist because they both have different perspectives. He was saying, but then when he broke it down, he was basically giving more credence. Is that a word, y'all? Credence? Yeah. He was basically giving more credence to the male therapist versus the female therapist. Like when he was talking about having sex 2 or 3 times a day, he was talking about how the woman was immediately like, oh no, that's crazy, da 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 da, versus the hold on, y'all. Let me get paper towel. I'm kind of hot. He was talking about how the female all of a sudden, how the female was saying like, this is crazy, da 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 da, versus the male. He was trying to say the male was being more practical and rational and asking him, why do you need to have sex 3 or 4 times a day, 2 or 3 times a day? So to me, he was trying to make it seem like the male therapist was more logical or practical or was doing a better job, basically, to me. And I think it was basically some misogynistic shit. Like he respected the male therapist more because the male therapist wanted to get down to the bottom of why he wanted to have sex this many times versus the female therapist that was immediately just disgusted by it and dismissed the notion. I think Kimmy peeped that. I think Kimmy peeped that. Then he said, if you didn't, he was like, I think, and this is when the manipulation came in. When he said, as a matter of fact, I feel like if you didn't have a problem with it, talking to Kimmy, if Kimmy didn't have a problem with having sex 2 or 3 times a day, then the counselors wouldn't have had a problem with it. And Kimmy was like, no, you're just trying to make me the problem. He's trying to act like him wanting to have sex a few times a day is not the problem. The problem is that Kimmy don't want to do it a few times a day. So you're not learning shit. For you to keep saying, I'm learning a lot from therapy. No, you're not. Because you ain't learned that you got a fucking problem that you need to have sex that many times a day. You're trying to make Kimmy the problem because you're saying that if you didn't have a problem with having sex with us all of these times a day, then it'll be okay. We'll have a healthy sex life. It's obvious that we're unequally yoked. Maybe y'all are as far as sexual is concerned. But then Kimmy was like, that never was the case. She said we had 2 or 3 times a day, but we only seen each other once a week. So that's different. If I don't see you every day, then of course when I see you on the weekends, we finna have sex multiple times. That's anybody. But if we see each other every day, I'm not fucking you all them times a day. What are we gotta work, baby. We can go to the gym. Like it's not that serious. Anyway, and then on top of that, Kimmy also states that it wasn't like that in the past. She said if they didn't have sex, he wouldn't get angry. I said, what? Now, we didn't hear that in therapy. Kimmy, I think that's something you should have mentioned in therapy. Not only do this wildebeest expect you to lay up under him, she said we gonna get to her not being turned on. You gotta lay up under this bald head wildebeest, let him sweat all on top of you. The sex ain't good, but if you don't give it to him, he get angry. Did y'all peep that Kimmy said he gets angry? Because he was saying, was that not normal before? She was like, yeah, but you didn't get angry. So now you get angry? Was you getting angry when she was going through the cancer shit? That she wasn't having sex with you? Remember when Kimmy went to that like sex counselor and stuff? Because after chemo, she said she didn't have like sexual urges and stuff. And he was like, no, I think that's mental. It ain't physical, so on, so on, so on, so on. So that one season, she went to go see like a sex therapist or something. No, in actuality, you wasn't turning her on. And was you getting angry with this girl? Because she ain't want to fuck you? Anyway, so then Kimmy tells us the true story. Now, I could tell that Kimmy knew at this moment he was manipulating and gaslighting her. To me, in this moment, this when I know that Kimmy, you smarter than what you appear. You're playing dumb. You know he playing in your face. Because during this moment, I feel like Kimmy light bulb popped on and she got pissed off. Because you playing in my motherfucking face now. And now let me tell you what the real tea is. This is why I don't want to fuck your motherfucking ass 2 or 3 times a day. Because back in the day when I was talking to you, you was actually building homes, doing hands-on work. You was looking rugged and you was looking good. And it was sexy and turning me on. So I wanted to fuck on you 2 or 3 times a day. Now you in your soft girl era. She said, hold on, what did she call him? She was like, you an attorney and you in your soft hand era. Kimmy was basically like, you didn't turn into a bitch in a suit. Now you a bitch in a suit asking, dude, would you happen to have any Grey Poupon? Exactly. And I'm not turned on. She said, what, I'm supposed to be turned on just because you look pretty? Kimmy don't like him either. Kimmy, I'm proud of you, girl. I'm proud of you admitting the fact that you don't like him either. So it's not only that Maurice don't want Kimmy, because he done told her before they went to therapy, whether you with me or not, whether you be with me or not, I want you to be happy. Kimmy just don't want to have sex with you no more because you acting like a little bitch. You riding around in your little sports car with your little suits. You don't want to get dirty. You don't want to help build anything. You are not turning her on anymore. And now she got dry cactus coochie and you still trying to fuck on me 2 or 3 times a day. I don't want you. I wish they'd just get a divorce. It's giving y'all trying to turn Maurice into the new Martell, the new bad husband. You can't pay me to believe that Maurice ain't already cheating on her. And I'm sorry, quiet as is kept. Kimmy probably don't give a fuck because she don't want to fuck on you. She probably, thank God I got a break. Exactly. Because he ain't making my coochie wet. Y'all are a comedy, child. Y'all got jokes. Anyway, so he talking about some, we're at an impasse. I don't want to say anything negative about our relationship. And Kimmy like, well, say it. Say what the fuck you gotta say. I don't want to say nothing negative. She like, well, why bring out the motherfucking comment if you ain't gonna say it? Why would you even think that? Kimmy, he wants a divorce. You know that. You're smart enough to know this shit, little Jerry curl. Exactly. Let your soul glow and go get you a divorce attorney. Call up the girlies, bite the bullet, humble yourself and call Melody, just like Tisha did when Tisha thought she was getting ready to divorce Marceau. She humbled herself and called Melody. Bitch, call Melody, get her divorce attorney. Make sure you get everything out of Maurice that you invested. You done already invested your time, raised his son, put him through law school. He done wore your coochie out. Get some vaginal rejuvenation and fuck that bald-headed ass. fuck that Ninja Turtle. That, like, somebody said he looked like a hard-boiled egg. Somebody else said he looked like an uncooked biscuit. Pillsbury Doughboy, if you will. Child, y'all had me cracking up in my comments on that short. Anyway, so that was pretty much the episode. They left the date. Both of them was pissed off. Y'all don't like each other. That's why you don't build a relationship based off of lust. It was given at the beginning. She seen him once a week. He was turning her on. The bald-headed man fixing up shit. He turned into a soft, he got in his soft hand era, like you would say. He ain't attractive no more. He don't want to do shit. He arrogant. That's the problem with building men up. You didn't build him up. Now he think he too cute. And now you don't like his ass. And he don't like you either. Exactly. Let that man cheat and let him go on about his business. Kimmy, tell him bye. You half 100. You could do better. And Kimmy is not an ugly woman. Let's be clear. He's actually aging you. Kimmy looked way better in the previous seasons. Maurice aged her, even after cancer. When Kimmy cut her hair off bald, Kimmy was still pretty as hell. Kimmy, let him go. He's aging you. Go get you a young 30-some-year-old man to knock the dust off that coochie and revitalize your life, friend. Exactly. Girl, fuck her. Anyway, so that was it. I thought the finale was pretty good. I'm mad that Miss Neill apologized. I wish she would have knocked Tisha Block off. Tisha tried to play the peacemaker at the end, but it would. This whole what do y'all grade this whole season? This whole season was a dud. The whole season revolved around Neill and Tisha drama. We ain't get no husband tea that was dropped. Martell, all he did was talked around coleslaw. We didn't get any answers about the Harry Hines girl. I'm sick of Maurice and Kimmy ass talking about their dry ass sex life, literally. Exactly. Wanda showed her ass on the dance floor, literally, at the party. It was all right. This season was really all right. It was name some funny moments. Destiny was painted as a whore. We already secretly thought she was a whore. I'm sorry, Destiny, but you coming from last season trying to prove that you were Moses' girl and he just up and married your friend Sonny. There's no way I don't believe that you won Moses' side bitch for 20 years. After this season, you turned into a 304. At least that's what you allowing them to portray you as. Because you said on Carlos King's show that, hey, y'all be doing it for free. At least I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid. And Carlos King said that you brought him this storyline. So I don't know. And the way they kept playing in your face, girl, they said all aboard choo choo. They was doing rock, paper, scissors for the coochie. It was a lot. Anyway, so the season coming back in March, child. Next time, when the season returns, they're going to talk about Trish. Lance going to tell us that Trish was underneath his comments with the heart eyes and emojis and the tongue. And then Trish said she doubled back. And then they say Martell. So I guess we're going to start talking about Trish. Trish, is you a secret hoe? So did we go from Destiny being a hoe this season to Trish go allegedly be a hoe next season? Trish, did you really mess with Martell? We know you a lying ass bitch. We know you a LAB. Girl, I don't know. But you wanted Lance. Actually, I think that Trish and Lance would be a cute couple. I love a chocolate and a vanilla together. I think Trish and Lance would be a really cute couple. A real cute couple. But he got a lot of kids. But Trish got kids too. I don't know. Anyway, what else happened? Oh, then they talk about Ken. They talk about Ken being in other girls' DMs. And Ken tried to play it off and was like, yeah, you know, for the last few months, we've been back and forth. I'm finna tell y'all a secret. I knew this a few months ago. Somebody showed me DMs that Ken was in. She a pretty girly. Pretty girly. And she's pretty and chocolate. Exactly. Yeah. And there was a few more people from Love and Marriage Huntsville too in her DMs. Exactly. So that's why I was like, Ken ain't as faithful and in love as he claimed to be. Exactly. Because he sure was in her DMs and all. He be all in her likes and to this day. He still be all in her likes and all in the exactly. So I think Ken is a cheater. I think he's just with Trish to be on the show because he's fame hungry. But it is what it is. Anyway, then we meet Destiny's family. We meet Destiny's family, girl. First of all, her brothers and sisters are really cute. Her mama, though. Now I see why she's so close to her daddy, because her mama, girl, I'm gonna pray for her mama. Her mama gives I ain't gonna say Frankie. I don't know. You can tell her mama probably has a substance abuse problem. And she about 100 pounds wet, child. I don't know. Maybe that's why Destiny acts the way she does towards women. I don't know. Maybe that's why she clings on to women. And then as soon as the woman rejects her, she lashes out and be lying on them and shit. Kind of how she did Melody on some Single White TV. I don't know. Maybe she be vying for women's attention or whatever. Maybe that's why she cleaned on to Miss Neill like that. I don't know. But I don't know if y'all saw the preview episode, but we meet Destiny Mama, child. I guess. Anyway, so then we get Chris Fletcher. So we are going to get into Chris Fletcher getting his license revoked. So that was a true story. Chris Fletcher broker's license is revoked. I wonder if it's active. Yeah, let me remind myself to look up Chris Fletcher license. Chris Fletcher broker's license. Okay, so I'm gonna see if his license is active now, because when he was talking to Miss Neill, he was talking about like a lawyer looking into it or whatever. Miss Neill was like, how we gonna replace that income? Miss Neill was like, these wigs and these clothes ain't gonna fund themselves. Bitch, how are we going to replace the income? I'm on Miss Neill's side. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Miss Neill was like, that's a great story, bitch. How we gonna replace this motherfucking income? Cause shit gotta get done. I'm still holding Chris Jr. dogs for collateral. Do we need to sell these pit bulls? Because we need some motherfucking money. And these kids stressing me out. Girl, it was so funny. I thought that was so funny. Miss Neill was like, at the end of the day, how the fuck is we gonna replace this income? She was like, because I need you back in real estate. We already know Miss Neill paid $20,000 to keep your ass out of jail and child support. At least that's what Lexi told us. Exactly. Anyway, then Fletcher ended up getting into it with Marceau, which I already told you. I already thought Marceau and them was jealous of the Fletchers. But the Fletchers get into it with Marceau. Kimmy get into it with Maurice because she pissed off that Marceau ain't finished her restaurant. Remember, I talked about that a few videos ago, how Marceau finishing everything, but what happened to Kimmy restaurant? The fact that the restaurant is already a brick and mortar building, all you have to do is gut it out and rebuild it. You ain't even gotta pour no new, you ain't gotta do shit, but just renovate this thing. That shit should have been done. Exactly. Anyway, so Maurice and Marceau gonna end up getting into it about the restaurant. Maurice talking about lawsuits, I guess, like a lawsuit against Scope because they haven't finished the property, And then you hear Maurice saying, fuck you, Marceau. I think they just putting on. And even if they not, I mean, that's why Kimmy didn't want to do business with them in the first place. That's why you don't do business with family. And I think that Tisha ended up getting another contractor to finish her office. I wouldn't hire their ass to do shit. The fact that I've watched Mendices build homes and now he's building 12 townhomes, I feel like Mendices gonna be done building 12 townhomes before Marceau even get done building that damn restaurant. And damn sure before he get done building Scope, is it Scott Manor? I don't know, Marceau. You need to call Mendices or at least make up with Martell enough for him to help you. At least Martell can build some shit, even though he's building it illegally without a damn builder's license. I don't know. Anyway, friends, so that's all I got. Tell me what y'all thought about the season finale. Do y'all think Kimmy is as dumb now that we've seen the full episode? I feel like Kimmy tried to fight back towards the end of the episode, and now I don't feel like Maurice only can't stand Kimmy. I think that Kimmy can't stand Maurice just as much. Kimmy, you just a fool. I would stop taking care of that son. What's for dinner? Not a motherfucking thing. Noodles. I'll stop cooking for their ass. I'll stop doing shit. Fuck y'all and fuck this house. Let's get a divorce. I don't give a fuck about it. Kimmy, you need to walk out the damn door, bitch. Exactly. Tisha, weak ass bitch. She brung her mama once again. Miss Wanda, you wasn't ready though, because Miss Neill was ready to go toe to toe with you. Miss Neill, you shouldn't apologize to them hoes. And please, next season, start bringing Kiki and your daughter to the events. Bring your daughters to the events. Anytime you get an event, and you know Tisha gonna be there, bring your daughters to get with them hoes. Exactly. Anyway, it was all right. Martell, baby, they pushing you clean up out the door, but I liked your little hair. I liked your hair. Dandruff, you don't stand a chance. Okay, that's all I got. Anyway, so tell me what you thought about the episode. Like I said, I'll probably go live. It's only 11 o'clock right now. So I'll probably go live later. We could talk a lot of shit and do a lot of shit. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Get you a little cocktail this morning. I want to snickle and giggle, so make sure you comment so we can have fun in the comments and have a good ass day. Exactly. Anyway, I love y'all. I'll talk to you later, friend. Bye.